Side battle for third. John Hole and Red Reynolds trying to move their way forward. Reynolds down on the bottom, the red and black machine in the third position, but out of a transfer spot. Now you see the Hyper Racing ticker at the top of the screen. Like Kayla mentioned, the cars with the yellow crowns above. Currently in transfer spot, yellow flag on the racetrack.
Got to be debris. I don't see anybody spun out at this point.
There was one car kind of lagging there at the tail. Looked like they had just fired back up. Clinton, do you see something, though?
Yeah, they had spun right in the middle of the backstretch. I believe it's the 38 car.
Levi Henderson, the 38H driver out of Hinsville, Arkansas.
He was around in the middle of the backstretch. And one thing I did notice as we were looking at the screen trying to find the yellow light was a little hard to see because the sun is absolutely shining today.
That's a nice weather here in Tulsa this week. Not been bad at all. Joshua Spatola, the race leader in the 05, started on the outside pole, the Arizona native. The leader.
Can't believe that I just picked this up on the ticker. See the drivers that are, the tiles are lit up red versus the all grayed out tile of Thompson Jr.?
Oh, wow. I know where you're going with this.
Yep. The drivers who have made the race and made the call or registered in the transponder loop are the ones whose number plates are lit up in red. So you can tell who is scratched based on who is grayed out as the ticker rolls along.
5 cars scratched out of this one. Tommy Thompson Jr., Connor Lundy, Cortland Stevens, Late Time, and Bobby Wofford Jr.
I can't believe it took me 32 and a half hours of watching the ticker this year to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't know what you were looking at.
Spatola leader in the 05. Branham in the final transfer spot. Reynolds, Hole, Bierman, Kilmer, Latimus, Burnett, Henderson trying to move their way in. Great start for the top 2 as they immediately jump away, and Reynolds has some catching up to do with only 6 laps to go. John Hole in the 20 opens up the inside lane. Cade Bierman able to drive by on the bottom of the red, white, and blue number 5B machine. He'll now set his sights on Reynolds, who rides in third. There's a look at the top 2. Branham rides in second. Spatola has an issue with the left front. Spatola going to fall out of the transfer spot.
A couple laps ago, I was noticing how a lot of race cars are really tight this morning. We get used to running on slicker tracks kind of throughout the week, and you show up in an early morning session like this one, and track's juiced up and raring to go, and your car's too tight. That makes it a handful as you see him still sliding back in the field.
Still fighting a very tight race car is Spatola as he continues to fall backwards. Going to lose another spot here. Preston Latimus drives by, and in a matter of 3 laps, Spatola has gone from the lead to 5th. And here's the battle for the transfer spot. Bierman to the inside of Reynolds, slips to his inside down the backstretch. Reynolds slides high out of 4. Bierman has looked really good on the bottom. We've seen him get by a couple of guys that way. Now into a transfer spot. We're on the last lap. Into 3 and 4 for the final time. Jake Branham with Cade Bierman behind him. Checkered flag is out. Those 2 drivers will move on to team A number 1 for stock non-wing. Preston Latimus, Greg Reynolds, Joshua Spatola, John Kilmer, Levi Henderson, Robert Burnett, John Hole, and then the DNSs all done for the stock non-wing portion of the 38th Lucas Oil Tulsa Shootout. There's a look at the winner, Branham, in the 8C. Inherited the pole position after originally being scheduled to go from the inside of row number 2.
Guys, we mentioned the track crew last night and said, kind of they got going about an hour after I left, or I started an hour after the races were over, right as I was leaving, and I got a text from Steve Hahn. He said, Gravel went home at 4:30 in the morning, took a shower, and came back. He's a badass.
Wow. Long night for him. We want to welcome in everybody who is watching our free preview live on Facebook at the moment. If you don't have a FloRacing subscription, this is just a taste of what you get with your FloRacing coverage here of the Lucas Oil Tulsa Shootout. It is the best money that you will spend all year if you're an auto racing fan, and we'd love to have you guys in here on Facebook Live right now. Brock Pankhurst and Tyler Walton make up the front row of the next E main. Holden Jennings, Steve Finn next to them. Lexa Turner and Darius Myers, Jaden Clay and Buddy Mullins, John Crowder and Brian Bennett, Robert Tittebeck and Jacob Johnson, your first 12. Final 2 starters scheduled to be Paige Perrin and Dave Nicholson in the 14 and 84, respectively.
We got someone tuned in. Says it hits a little bit different when you tune in at 11 p.m. to watch the shootout starting in the morning. Any guesses who that might be?
Ooh, 11 p.m. to watch. Nope, you're going to have to surprise me on this one.
That's Sunshine. Tyler Courtney.
Ooh.
Gets done over there with his day. tunes in at 11 p.m. to see the first non-wing E features.
We miss you, son. We miss you, Sunshine.
We do?
Come back.
Do we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, he's all right.
Enjoyed having him in the booth last year. Enjoyed the little variety we got in the booth last year.
Yeah, he and Jeff Gordon at the same time. It's hard to beat.
It was fun. I fanboyed a little. It's not every day you get to interview Tyler Courtney.
Green flag in the air on a turn 4. That's actually Jennings and Finn on the front row. Neither of the original front row sitters, Pinkrus and Walton, made the crawl. Underway here in E-Main number 2.
What has Finn got flying off the back of that car? See in the back right of the cage. It's not quite a rookie ribbon, but it's something.
Looks like a bandana almost.
Well, right now it's a long ways back before the next driver can even see it. That's good news for Finn, who's in a transfer position. Jennings and Finn, 1 and 2.
Jaden Clay, Jacob Johnston going at it for position. That's for 5th right now. Clay holds a spot. Battle for 3rd, heating up. Buddy Mullins trying to get by Darius Myers. Myers opens up the inside lane going into turn 1. Mullins tries to get there. Myers able to slam the door. Mullins had to hop on the binders, falls back a little bit. Now Clay will put pressure on him for the 4th spot. Laps winding down. Holden Jennings in the 66J. Look at the leader right there out of Weatherford, Oklahoma.
Had an alternately rough night and a decent night last night as he ended up getting stuffed into the wall on one of the final laps. Hurt the race car a little bit, but got it put back together to compete later in the show and did very well. One more time around for Jennings in the yellow-black with orange, number 66.
That's part of the Tulsa Shootout. It can be an emotional roller coaster when you run 3 or 4 different classes. Some are going to go good, some are going to go bad. The good news for Holden Jennings, he won a race. The bad news, it was an E-Main. He'll move on to D-Main number 2 and try to make a run through the soup here in stock non-wing. Steve Finn is going to move along with him. Finn, a Collinsville, Illinois native.
Just like that. 2 races in. More to come. Chris Wilner with an update. Who you got up there, Chris?
Yeah, we have now full-time IndyCar driver Santino Ferrucci, who's making another shootout appearance, trying to get ready for the Chili Bowl. First, let's talk about that, though. I know this is a time of year where you're trying to get in that mindset before you go to the Chili Bowl. How has the shootout been for you, and what kind of things are you trying to readjust your brain to that's different from an IndyCar and a stock car?
Well, I'm just trying to adjust to doing everything the opposite of what I'm used to. I didn't obviously run any laps last year at the Chili Bowl because I put it in the fence in spectacular fashion. But no, I'm here to warm up, get laps. Dave Mack and Barnhill Racing's taking care of me this week. You know, I can't thank Webco enough for having us back again for another year. And yeah, man, I'm having a blast. I mean, we're in an E-Main today, but laps are laps.
You're also probably the most excited person right now at whatever 9:15 in the morning. But let's talk about this helmet. Space Jam inspiration. It was Wile E. Coyote last year. Look at the detail. Talk about that.
Yeah, you know what? I got on a Tunes kick last year, and you know we had the Roadrunner helmet. Then I did a Superman helmet for the 500, and then I figured, you know what? Everybody loves the good old Space Jam. So I mean, we got everybody on there, even my dogs. You know, it was cool. Troy Lee always knocks it out of the park with these things, and you know, I can't thank Arai for giving me enough helmets to go do this too.
Absolutely. Well, hey, good luck, have fun, and just enjoy the experience. Can't wait for Chili Bowl 2.
Me neither.
Santino Ferrucci, guys, gonna try to put on a show here early this morning. Best looking lid in the building, I think.
Well, so long as it's the old school Space Jam with the GOAT, Michael Jordan, none of this LeBron Space Jam stuff.
I wonder how many kids haven't actually watched Space Jam. I say that being, I haven't watched the new one, so.
I won't watch the new one.
There you go.
All right.
Preston Norby, Richie Harvey in row number 1. Dustin Bottoms, Gunnar Schroyer, row 2. Charlie Henderson, Damian Norbury in row 3. Thomas Partington, Luke Lane, row 4. Row 5, Jack Loban, Cooper Sullivan. Row 6, Dylan Ramey, Carl Lebo. Row 7, Grant Stocker, Henry Chambers. So 14 cars slated to go. We'll see how many of them make the call. Caleb,
9.
You counted 9. So 2 Norburys on the inside of row 1 and outside of row 3. Also a Queensland native, and Thomas Partington. Met him for the first time the other day when we interviewed him, and pretty cool guy. Enjoyed talking to him. Glad he's here At the Tulsa Shootout, Preston Norbury on the pole. Green flag in the air, and immediately Dustin Bottoms into a transfer position, as I believe that was Richie Harvey on the outside of the front row. Lost a number of positions on the initial start. Gunnar Schroyer into third. One lap in the books, and Preston Norbury, the leader over Bottoms, Schroyer, and then the timing and scoring loop is missing Schroyer, I believe, so hopefully that catches up. Has him towards the tail of the field. Inside lane opens up for Bottoms, and he goes by Preston Norbury for the lead. Now gets together with the leader. Schroyer gets a piece of that and is going to fall back a number of spots. Schroyer back to fifth as three cars battling for 2 spots at the front of the field results in contact. Jack Lobin in the 13L underneath the 47 of Charlie Henderson. That's for the 3rd spot. Schroyer now trying to make his way back forward. Has 4 laps to try and get near a transfer spot once again. Schroyer definitely a fast race car. The contact definitely hurt him. Norbury misses the bottom out of turn number 2, allows Lobin and Schroyer to really close in. Schroyer carries a bunch of momentum trying to catch Lobin for the 3rd position. Dustin Bottoms, the leader in the 8B. Norbury has problems in turn 2 again, this time on the bottom. Lobin goes up to the high side and will try to drive around him in 3 and 4. Cover the white flag one more time around. Peeks to the inside. Norbury going to slam the door. Much better in turn 2 this time. Schroyer to the inside of Lobin down the back stretch. Still side by side. Nobody, though, going to catch the top 2. Bottoms and Norbury will move on.
Been waiting all week to make this joke. Bottoms up. Let's check in as we'll clear this E-main with Earl. Earl, what's happening?
Well, boys, at the top of the hour, I said there could be some drama up here in the tech area, and already we do. Winner E-feature number 2, Holden Jennings, has been disqualified because he was light at the scales. You have to weigh 750 pounds in this class. His weight, 740.
10 pounds short.
Somebody forgot to put the lead back on.
That's what happened to Cannon Posey yesterday. He was DQ'd, and I believe it might have been stuck non-winged as well. One of the 8 class divisions.
On to E-feature 4 with Brody Wake and Robbie Bias making up the front row. Seth Duty and Trey Gibbs in row 2. Stephen Sider, Beckham Malone in row 3. Thomas Byford and Robert Harbert in row 4. Shaylee Buck and Anthony Sunday in row 5. Cody Weigert and Harley Watley in row number 6. And your 7th and final row will be Cannon Posey and Ryan Cotney if everybody makes the call. You guys remember last night, Seth Duty, that is the car that the steering wheel had the bolts come all the way through the steering wheel spacer and out through the hub and you name it. See if he managed to get her back together in the overnight hours. And he did not. So total of 7 drivers going to be contesting this.
Both of the front row sitters made the call. Actually, never mind. Robbie Bias did not. Trey Gibbs in the 99X is going to move to the outside of the front row. Wake did make the call. Becca Malone on the inside of row number 2 there.
8 laps to decide it. Wake down low. Gibbs on the high side. They'll go wheel to wheel into corner number 1. Wake's got the advantage for the time being. Gibbs trying to muscle his way up side by side with Wake. Drivers, a lot of them are still battling that tight condition, Clinton. I'm seeing a lot of wheels turned left coming out of corners still.
Yeah, I think that's just natural from, like I said, running on the slick track kind of all yesterday for the most part, and then you come out here on a fresher reworked racetrack and everyone's just a little bit tight.
Field spreads out. Harbert under fire from Watley. That's for position 5. Bragging rights that further back in the field. Watley going to run down the hill off the top of turn number 4. Shoot into the corner. Can't hold it. Nearly up into the wall off of turn number 2. So take a look back to later. Brody Wake. Gibbs closes a little off turn number 2. Right now, those 2 cars are your transfer position cars with just 3 laps left to go.
Very comfortable at the front of the field. Malone is, I believe, over a second behind the leader, so about 0.7 of a second behind the second and final transfer. Top two away at the front of the field.
Watch the hands on Gibbs, and watch how far to the left he's having to turn that car at times.
Got really tight slid high, and that allowed Malone to catch him. White flag is in the air. Might have a battle for the transfer spot here on the final circuit.
Yeah, Gibbs has got a car that's just snug, real snug, and he's having to pilot that thing hard to get it around. Wake's going to get the win to the line. Gibbs hangs on, but they're going to have to go to work on that thing at the top of the ramp. Yeah, that thing's snug.
In the stock non-wing, the only thing you have to utilize when your car is tight like that is your left front brake. There's no cockpit adjusters again, and not much you can do other than drive it a little bit harder and try and drag some left front brake to keep your car rotating.
E-main number 5, Trey Drop and Justin Simpson on the front row. Zach Moore, Robert Randolph in row 2. Austin Wood, Mason Kiefer, row 3. Santino Ferrucci and Mark Martin in row 4. Tim Snelly and Madeline Jonas in row 5. Chris Counter, Bobby Chapa in row number 6. Row 7 slated to be Devin Myers and Brandon Martin. So 2 Martins in this one. Mark Martin, not NASCAR Mark Martin as we covered last night, although it could be just in disguise. And then Brandon Martin scheduled to go tail the field.
You know, I don't actually remember seeing Mark Martin race at any point in time this week. Like, we've made that joke like 17 times, and I don't remember seeing the car.
Later the night last night, I was like, has Mark Martin made a race yet? Because I don't remember, and I've been waiting to see if it's like a Mark Martin throwback car, what the deal is.
He doesn't make this one either, because that's Mason Kiefer 7, and tucked right behind him is Matty Jurnas in the 14. So once again, we are Mark Martin less.
Makes me sad.
It makes me sad.
Maybe it was Shane Cochran.
I believe you're referring to Alex Shanks.
Yeah. Shane's been tweeting us. It can't be Shane.
He's working.
Had to be Alex Shanks.
He's saving kids and saving kitties, right?
That's what he said.
There's the 7K, Mason Kiefer, former 600cc mod winner at the shootout, I do believe.
We're talking this morning about kind of our initiation rites, and that first year you were here, you were the voice of the mini mods.
That was fun.
Forever, the final voice of the mini mods, too.
Do they still run those at Crete County quite a bit?
They run them all over the place. Still a very healthy division throughout the, what you would call the Bible Belt.
Out of turn 4, we'll see if that stands. I think they got even whenever they were at the cone. So green flag in the air. Trey Drop out to the lead. Justin Simpson feeling the pressure already from Austin Wood, the Sacramento, California native, off the bottom of turn 4 by Simpson into a transfer spot. Austin Wood, a talented young driver, bid bobble there from Kiefer in the 7K. Allows Santino Ferrucci to catch him a little bit. Great shot from the DMI drone. Austin Blair working hard. Simpson takes a peek to the inside of Wood. Can't build enough momentum. Wood looked really good right there through the corners. Drop a little bit sideways in the corner, but hangs on to it. As Ferrucci in the 17F tries to work his way forward. Currently riding in 5th. Got to look there at Madeline Jurnas for just a second. Top 3, really the top 5, starting to put more and more separation between themselves. Simpson does not want to let Wood slip away here. Drop in the 54, former PowerEye National Midget Rookie of the Year, former PowerEye West winner. Recently started his own cleaning service, staying busy on and off the track and leading the C-Main here, race 242. He and Wood all out front by themselves. In this one, Austin Wood, son of Cale Wood. Seen him develop in the micro ranks in California the last couple of seasons. And barring a yellow or dramatic turnaround, looks like it's going to be Trey Drop and Austin Wood. In fact, they're coming to the checker this time. Drop and Wood are going to move on to D-Main number 5 for the stock non-wing division.
Small observation, Connor, as we were walking the pits this morning, Trey Drop and Ava Drop are not pitted in the same pit area. Brother sister are on different aisles.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's based on Trey maybe running for somebody else or how that all shakes out, but either way, they're completely different aisles from each other. Kind of strange. Here comes E-Main number 6. Evan Harvey and Tony Morris are on the front row. Jason Garris and Sean Wicker make up row number 2. Michael Facinto and Dalton Pereira in a really studly row 3 from California. Kane Baker, Sean Cleveland make up row 4. Talon McConnell, Jacob Kirchhoff in row 5. Then it's Jack Kasich, Reed Whitney in row number 6. And Chris Parmley is the Lone Ranger on row number 7. So we're down to 13 car fields. Still going 8 laps. Still top 2 finishers moving forward here on the program. As you get a look at the Bell Helmets speed shot in the very moist Expo Raceway here in the early morning. Harvey is out there, and Morris is out there, so your front row is intact. Looks like Jason Garris didn't make the call. Sean Wicker dives down. I do not see Michael Facinto.
Yeah, surprising to see him in an E-Main. I probably would not have put a lot of money on him to be in an E-Main this week, but doesn't look like he's going to make it out.
Dalton Pereira is there outside row number 2, and Pereira, he is a gasser, so keep your eyes peeled. If anybody can come weaving through this, it may be him. We're underway with our 6th E feature. Into turn 1, using every bit of those bumpers to try to get through. Aggressively on the bottom, it's Wicker in the 27 cars. We've got 2 around, and of course, commentator's curse hits early. Dalton Pereira in the 51. And he is messed up with, is that our 112 of Kasich?
Yes, sir. I believe it is. Looks like it's out of the Robb Brothers tub camp. Pereira climbing out of that race car. Brian Ward is down there. Brian, any damage on that 51X that's preventing Dalton from moving on or from continuing on?
Get a look up front of the race car. It looks like both front torsion arms and the axle all looks good. The shocks look good. As far as front suspension, I don't see anything. We'll get a word here. You climb out of the race car. What's preventing you from continuing here?
I didn't hear you.
What's preventing you from continuing here?
It's an E-Main. There's no reason to keep going.
All right, so it's coming from the back. Doesn't even want to bother with trying to work through that field. They'll get him back on the UTV, get the track cleared. Buried deep. One of the struggles of the shootout.
Brian, is that frame bent? Seems like there's a big kink right in the left down tube of that frame.
There definitely is a little kink in it there. You can see the body damage as well right there on the left down tube. You are absolutely right. Good eye.
We'll get a look at the Eibach Springs replay as that car hauls off the racetrack, and yeah, you can see where that kink came from in the left down tube. You can also see Dalton getting out of the car gingerly. If you watched his movements and how he was acting getting out, I can see a few reasons why Dalton doesn't want to continue on here with this E feature.
Especially if he didn't have a nice Sharp Advantage knee guard inside there.
Available at your many Sharp Advantage retailers across the United States.
Yep.
I know a guy.
8 cars on the track here. We did complete 1 lap, and we'll have 7 to go. Harvey on the pole. 20T, Tony Morris on the outside of the front row. Green flag in the air. Kanan Baker, the 21K. We've seen him be successful here at the shootout in his 21K machine. Jumps into the 2nd spot following Morris through 3 and 4. Morris slides up high, and Baker drives right by him on the inside to lead the first lap. They did do a complete restart as Kasich did continue on, trying to make his way back up through the field. Reed Whitney in the 87. Gets around Kasich right there for the 5th position, I believe. Kasich battling back on the bottom. They're behind Sean Wicker in the 27W. 3 cars on the screen right there. Whitney up on the high side. Kasich down low. Wicker now right behind Harvey. So 4 cars all going for it. Maybe some contact right there between Kasich and Whitney.
I believe this is a class that Whitney got absolutely yard sailed in his heat race. Put him deep in points, trying to dig himself out, and a tough break right there for him. But
Kasich really forcing the issue as he gets by both Whitney and Wicker, trying to work his way forward. Evan Harvey, my apologies, in the 3rd position, but not for long. Kasich going to get by him, aggressively crosses up in front of him. He's 1 spot out, needs to get a final spot with 2 laps to go. Coming to the white flag this time, and about 5 car lengths behind Second place ring Tony Morris. There's a look at the leader, Kaden Baker. In 21A, that D1 will take the checkered flag. And unfortunately, Cassick, though a fast race car, going to run out of time. If he had one more lap, he probably would have got Tony Morris. Baker and Morris will move on. So that draws a conclusion to E-Main number 6, race 243. Going to 307 here today. If you're just joining us, the 38th annual Lucas Oil Tulsa Shootout. We're in stock non-wing A-Main. You're watching live on FloRacing. There's a look at the Evo ramp cam. Riley Goodnow walking up after checking that one out. Caleb, line up for E-Main number 7.
Garrett Massey's on the pole, Eddie Ramsey next to him. Then Keely Ricardo and Earl McDoulet Jr., Graham Hamilton, Trevor Casey, Mason Jensrud, and Dwight Green, Bash Ferguson, Braden Warren, Carter Holt. Mikey Brunker, and the final starter is supposed to be Matt Taylor. Down the Evo fuel injection ramp cam, and up that same ramp, we'll welcome back in Chris.
Well, you guys remember yesterday, Robbie Brockman put on some hero moves in the Outlaw non-wing lower main divisions, advancing through at least one. All right, Robbie, it was all on the top yesterday when you made some hero moves. What do you got for him in the 74 now? A little bit earlier in the day, so the track's going to be definitely much different.
Yeah, we're going to have to stay down and just, we start fourth, or third, so hopefully just get one spot and transfer over.
Lots more track time than maybe some of the other competitors, obviously, when you run all these lower mains. So what kind of the experience did that play into you guys in terms of setting up your race car?
I definitely needed it. This is actually my second time driving these cars. So I went and raced a race out in Arizona, got hooked, and put a deposit down on one, and just got built for this race. So I don't know shit about this stuff, like setup. I'm learning. Be seeing me next year for sure.
Absolutely. The racing bug has hit Robbie Brockman here in 2022.
He's not a fan in me.
We saw Brockman's car there. He got a unique shifter set up, a really high left side shifter in his car that normally you're going to see it right down just above like where your chain guard would be, kind of next to your seat, but his was way up high there. I noticed it yesterday also when he was getting an interview.
Interesting. Well, the field is rolling down the ramp and getting ready to go.
2 more E-Mains left, and then we'll move into D-Mains for stock non-wing. We'll start to see some of the drivers hit the track for the second time today, those that transferred out of the E-Mains. Garrett Massey in the 23M does make the pole. So does Eddie Ramsey. This might be the most cars we've had make the call for an E-Main to this point in the day.
Well, it's closer to 10 o'clock. Some of them had the extra little time to wake up, hit the QT on the way in, find them some breakfast hot dogs or whatever the heck else they're eating.
You talking about me?
I'm throwing no shade. It was a compliment, I promise.
Side by side already. Ramsey there, contact with McDowell in the 60M. Driving in hard. We got a car upside down, tipping over. That's the 70 of Dwight Green.
Stuck the landing.
Give him a 7.8 out of 10 for the hold at the top.
For sure. Didn't go all the way over, I don't believe. But the caution comes out. So, decision time again.
This is going to be a debatable one.
Yeah.
My judge is if we think it would have brought out a red at a weekly outdoor or normal race.
First look, I said, oh, we're adding to the flip count. You know, Dan, the producer man, is giving me the subtle head nod. So
I was going to say we snuck one away from the producers earlier in the week. I feel like this is one we can give back to them. This not a flip if they want to head that way.
Truck.
Here we go.
All right. Ibach Springs replay. Ooh.
I just feel like the cages never pointed downward.
Boy. Second look. Yeah, I'm thinking no flip there. Nice ballerina move with the pirouette, right? But all right, no flip.
Well, while we debate it, we do have Earl Hoon Jr. up top with Jack Cassick.
Yeah, guys, I got Jack Hassick here with me, and, well, here's another story. He was third prior to the scales, and then a little bit of drama happens right here, and now all of a sudden you're going to extend your shootout because the driver in front of you, Tony Morris, was disqualified. So before scales, you're not in. After scales, you're extending your week.
Yeah, finally got a little luck on our side because hasn't been the best week. Team deserves better for me to be in an E-main right now, but glad I have a chance to get going and maybe make it up a few more.
Absolutely. That's Jack Hassick, guys. Moving on.
Is that 2 victims at the scales already this morning?
That's 2.
Garrett Massey, Eddie Ramsey on the front row. Dwight Green in the 70 is able to continue on from the tail of the field.
Garrett Massey wants that one back, and he might get it as the caution light comes on.
So we'll try it a third time.
Hard to say if that was Massey not taking off or an actual jump. Looks like they're leaving the front row the same, at least as of right now.
I think Ramsey got sent back, right, guys? That's McDougall
Sure
Jr.
did.
front row outside.
Massey and McDougall now going side by side.
Looking for the top 2. We'll see if we can get a lap complete in this one. E-main number 7. Green flag.
Well, whatever happened, worked out way better for Massey, did it not?
Absolutely. Top 2 breakaway. McDowell in Massey. McDowell looks to the inside. Slamming the door in 1 and 2 is the 23M of Massey, and problems for the back in the field. The 70 of Green is involved again. This time the 6C of Trevor Casey, as well as the 21C of Carter Holt. Caution is out. Unofficially did get a lap complete this time. But first 6 rolled through fairly quickly. I think we only had a couple of cautions in those. Unfortunately, lucky number 7 is not going as smoothly.
Officials untangle the 3 cars that were together. Now we'll see who can restart and who can't. And a look at the iBox Springs instant replay with what happened coming into the first corner. Ooh. Chain reaction, and the guy who started the whole thing, Ian Ramsey, drives away. Seen that more than a time or 2.
Was it Chris Moore that called that the accordion effect?
Yes, it was.
There you go.
Something happens at the front of the field and it affects the whole back half.
On smaller, tighter racetracks like this, and especially in micros, you see that quite a bit.
While we're bored right now, bored is not the right word, but while we have some downtime, you were asking about the Talking Tulsa segment last night. Let's just throw it out there.
Okay.
It was Jason McDougall.
Cool.
Sweet.
Jason and I spent a lot of time back in Indiana together. We lived together for a while, and definitely one of my best friends, so cool to get to do him. We talked a lot of stuff. Fishing. We talked about going to Tiki Bob's, Patron Saint, some of our favorite places in Indy to go hang out and have a good time. And obviously we talked about the 2018 Driller run and what he's got coming up on Chili Bowl this year. Totally new team. So a lot of cool stuff with Jason. I'm sure we'll see that segment later on, but if you're tuning in early this morning, you get a sneak peek because I'm sure some guys are going to wake up later on. They're going to be wondering.
So Talking Tulsa to be posted on FloRacing.com. It's going to be Clinton Boyles with Jason McDougall. That'll be fun. Glad you got to do that.
There's a special ending to it for sure.
Special ending?
Yeah, special ending that was Jason's idea, not my idea.
All right.
My mom, if she watches it, or if she's listening right now, I need her to know this was not my idea. So
Mom, maybe, you don't watch Talking Tulsa today?
She's going to watch it. There's no talking her out of that one.
Okay.
But just remember, it's been a long week, and we needed a refresher. So,
especially now that you mentioned that, she's definitely going to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
Paul McMahon's watching from the Quick Car World headquarters. I won't tell Danny that you got the show on. He says no flip.
All right.
Well, Paul says so.
We'll take Paul's word.
Yeah,
he won a few races in his day, so we'll take his word for it.
Paul knows best, that's for sure. Paul was the voice of reason and kind of the guy in charge when he was on the All-Star Tour with everyone. Thankful to get to meet Paul and get to know him.
Single file restart, and Kylie Ricardo was aggressive on that restart, trying to get into the top two. McDowell drives away, though. Down the back straightaway. McDowell opens up the inside. Good run on the top. Moves down to the middle groove on corner exit right there, and he's got a pretty good line working as he goes for the lead.
You know, I wonder if this comes down to it. Right now it doesn't look like it was, but if that Gatewood Power Sports cone and the don't advance your position would be up for grabs there, because Ricardo was way up on Earl on that restart. Either way, it's a moot point right now unless Ricardo can get back up to your top two. McDoulet Jr. going up and around Massey. He's going to make the pass and try to take the top spot. If he can get the door closed off the fourth corner, he can do so. So McDoulet and Massey 1 and 2. Ricardo is 3 and a long ways back. Then Hamilton 4 and Ramsey 5.
Single file throughout most of the field. That's the gap between 4 and 5. Switch over now to show you the gap between 3 and 4. There's the gap between 1 and 2. McDoulet in that 60 machine has looked fairly solid here this week at Tulsa. He's had a pretty decent shootout. White flag one more time around. And it looks like he and Darren Massey are D-main bound. McDoulet through 3 and 4. Comes out of 4 and takes the checkered. He and Darren Massey will move on. Kylie Ricardo, Graham Hamilton, Eddie Ramsey, Carter Holt, Mason Jinsrud, Mikey Brunker, Bash Ferguson, Trevor Casey, Dwight Green. Done. Braden Warren and Matt Taylor did not make the call for that.